Hello, welcome to TrueHoop with me, Jarod, Hector, and Coach David Thorpe. How are you, sir?
I got games on at night. Pretty soon, games on during the day. All is well.
Yeah, Summer League basketball is here. Today actually felt like the first summer day in New York City for quite a while. Just sunny, had a nice run in Central Park this morning.
What's it been like?
I mean, it's been rainy and thunderstormy, and then we had all the air quality crap,
Oh, that's true.
So that's we've been
Because the rest of the country is struggling with heat.
Yeah, it's been warm. People are like, "What are you talking about?" It's been warm. It has, but it hasn't been like, "Hey, warm, let's be outside." Like in sun, we've got rain and all that crap.
Right.
But today, real nice. So very excited about that. But yeah, Summer League is here. The league will be descending upon Vegas shortly. But before we get into Summer League, there's still free agents that are out there and people who need to be signed. And, we have to talk about the two big dominoes that have yet to fall. But before we get to that, there was a sign and trade involving Grant Williams. He will now be a member of the Dallas Mavericks, signed a 4-year, $53 million deal. As part of it's a 3-team deal the way it works. As part of it, the Celtics will get 2 second-round picks, a $6 million trade exception. The Mavericks also get 2 second-round picks, and the Spurs get Reggie Bullock and an unprotected 2030 pick swap. I should also say that the Mavericks were hoping that they were going to be able to sign Matisse Thybulle to an offer sheet. They put one out there, but the Portland Trailblazers did match it, and it was signed back by Matisse, so he will be heading back to the Portland Trailblazers. Okay. So you hear that Grant is heading to the Mavericks. Immediately, I think corner shooting 3 and defense for Luka Doncic. What say you?
Well, I thought of those things. There's 2 other things to consider. One's involving Grant. The other one is Dante Exum they signed, who played at Partizan the last couple of years. And, one of the better programs in Europe. They finished, I think they lost in the quarterfinals in 5 games to get to the Final Four for the EuroLeague. 40% three-point shooter, 80% from the line last couple of years. Former top, 3, 4, I think top 3 pick for the Jazz. So that's a nice upgrade. Knows how to play better than any of these young guys that they'll have. And Grant Williams, what you said is right. Defense, 3-point shooting, playoff experience 2 years ago, especially more so than this year. But there's one other thing, and that is, from what I understand, and I don't know Grant.
Right.
We have mutual friends. He's super smart.
Yeah.
One of those crazy smart guys. And those guys aren't always easy to get along with.
That could upset the locker room chemistry a bit.
Yeah. So if he thinks he's smarter than Luka, which he probably is in equations and so forth, not on the court. And then Kyrie also.
Oh, Jesus.
There, chemists in the lab know sometimes certain compounds don't mix well together. Certain elements don't mix well together. And so this is a chemistry experiment. The problem is I don't think Jason Kidd's any kind of master chemist.
Right.
So I have a concern about that.
Yeah.
Nico might be fine as GM and all the executives. Maybe they figured all that stuff out and Mark as an owner. I don't have a lot of faith in Jason Kidd as a head coach. You can criticize me. You won't, but some will. I'm not a fan. And I have a concern that this is going to go bad.
What do you think the conversations are like between Grant and Kyrie Irving?
Yeah.
Grant, who actually is smart, and Kyrie, who thinks he's the smartest person in every room he walks into.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't thought about that, but it's really a great question. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what Grant's educational background is. Right. I just know that I've heard how crazy brilliant he is.
Right.
Is it a science-based brilliance?
Right.
I'd like to know that because I like him to talk to Kyrie about
the world being flat.
Well, among other things. Yeah. Among other things. Yeah. Asking that question alone, as I was talking to, I have a sister-in-law who's a pilot. I now have a niece who's a pilot. So I've got 2 women in my family that are pilots. It's not possible that the earth is flat. We know this as a fact. Any pilot would know. Otherwise, you watch the flight patterns they take.
But you know what? Pilots, ships would know. The ships don't fall off the end of the earth when they.
Right.
What do you think happens?
Right. I don't even know where to begin. So, if Grant has a tender heart, he will deal with Kyrie with kid gloves and they'll work out fine. He's not had one in Boston. Let's see how it goes in Dallas. So, they had to do something.
Yeah.
They had to do something. It's got a chance to work. as opposed to no chance. I think that's a chance.
Right. It's just that I think, to your point, the mercurial nature of the people in that locker room. And look, for as brilliant as Luka is, he can be persnickety himself sometimes, right? So I just feel like, and again, to your point, coaching is, yes, X's and O's are a huge part of it. But another huge part of it is managing egos and different personalities. And I don't know that Jason Kidd is very good at that piece.
I do know. Yeah. I don't think he's good. Did I talk to you already on the show about his press conference with the first round picks? I don't think I did.
No.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into great detail on this, but basically I saw it on YouTube. He's got 2 first round picks. Derek Lively being one, who is a really interesting story. Mom has been fighting cancer for years. Mm-hmm. I think dad already died. Mm-hmm. It sounded like to me.
Yep. I think so.
Played at Duke, number one. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of 5 guys said they were number 1 in the class. He was one of the 5 guys that was supposedly, or right there at the top of the class. And I saw him play live at Duke this year. Interesting talent. But they had 2 first round picks. And Nico Harrison introduced them and basically said, "Okay, Coach Kidd, take it off. You can kick it off."
Oh, and Omax Prosper, right? He's also there.
Omax is the other one, right? So I thought this was a chance for Jason to just tell some great stories about, boy, when I saw tape on Derek, when I saw tape on Omax, when I saw these guys in the individual workouts, just tell us something. Yep. Mm-hmm. Make the players feel like, oh man, this guy loves us. Mm-hmm. And nothing. Just could not have been less interested in talking about either guy. He couldn't have been more quiet and unassuming in talking about him. They had dinner the night before. Great. We learned nothing from it. And again, in the grand scheme of things, it shouldn't matter. But little things matter. Little things matter. And he doesn't seem that type. He's the type that I think is going to blame the team when they're not connecting, when he probably will deserve some blame. I don't see that as a long-term marriage anymore. I really don't. We'll see. If they struggle again this year, I think he's gone.
No, I think you're right on there. Yeah, it's, we talk about this all the time, right? Guys need the right incubation to blossom into whatever their potential allows them to blossom into. And those little things are actually big things, right? They matter. All that, stuff you talked about all year about how many times has your coach talked to you, excuse me, and took you out to dinner one-on-one, none of that stuff, right? All those little things where you feel like someone actually cares about me in this organization, that matters, right? And if those things aren't present, again, the great players who are going to be great no matter what, sure, they're fine. But most people aren't like that. Everybody else in the league has to be in the right environment for it to work out. So,
well, I'll give you another specific example. There's a rookie playing right now in the summer league. He's been playing, who I think is a terrific talent. And an assistant coach told a mutual friend of ours he loves the kid as well. But he's not sure the head coach thinks he's an NBA player. Well, good luck with that, bro. Right. Yeah, if your own coach doesn't believe in you after 2 games, well, I'm sure this came about. This was before the second game even started. Mm-hmm. I thought it was pretty good in the first game, and like 3 practices, and already you're being doubted. Like, you got no shot. Yeah. I feel I want to call his agent and say, dude, pull him out. Yeah. He's not going to make it there. You can't. He's got a contract, but these coaches have so much power. Mm-hmm. And they typically are so skeptical of everything and don't realize the impact they can make by believing and breathing spirit into people.
Yeah, well, that is your definition of leadership.
Yeah.
So the other major news in the NBA that we're all waiting on is where the trade demands of Damian Lillard and James Harden are going to go. I've been hearing so many things about destinations and all that, and I think we were pretty clear, but I think I want to be pretty clear about our position here. And if you think differently, David, that's fine, about where I am on this. Players have the right to feel like they want to play somewhere where they have a chance to be their best and win and what have you. And if they feel like the current place they're at is no longer that place, I feel like they can, even though they're on a contract, they can go to management through their agent or whatever and say, hey, I'd like you to move me wherever I have to go. These are my preferred destinations, etc. Now, I think based on what you have contributed to the organization, who you are, what your relationship is like, the organization can, if they want to, do you a solid, right, by looking at those teams. Or they can say, look, we appreciate that's where you want to go, but we're going to do what's right for us. An example I'll go to is that Kyrie and KD once Kyrie requested his trade, KD was like, well, great. Now I'm going to be the only star left here. I'm gonna request a trade too. Kyrie wanted to go to LA. The Nets were under no obligation. They were like, well, we're not sending you to LA. Like, no, we're going to send you wherever we get the best package. If it's Dallas, and it was, great, it is. On the other hand, they knew Durant wanted to go to Phoenix, and so they worked with Phoenix. They look, he really wants to go here. Here's what we want, right? But they chose to do that. They could have been like, no, we're not going to. And so I say all that to say, while it would be nice for Dame to go to his preferred destination of the Heat, the Blazers are under zero obligation. And we know Daryl is unafraid of being uncomfortable as he held onto Ben Simmons for a year plus, right? And will only move the player when he feels like he is getting what is enough value back in return for the franchise he represents.
Well, the word you use there is obligation. Of course, they're not under an obligation. The question is, should they, in the case of Portland, for example, should they acquiesce to Dame's wishes? My argument is no, not in this case, because you've already you've got so much money from them in this deal, which is severely hamstrung them to begin with. Mm-hmm. You could have chosen to say, I want out 2 years ago.
Yep.
We could have traded you, and then you could have got your money somewhere else and been out of our hair. But now we're paying the price of being limited to the number of teams that could even take you to begin with. So we can't necessarily get the haul we want to get because your salary is so exorbitant. But also now we only can do it with one team. Yeah. I mean, I think there's a compromise there. They're going to do the best they can, but there's no. They just say we don't know if we can get you to Miami, but the next team can.
Yeah.
Depending on what you do with them, he can always choose not to play. And what was the point of having all that money paid for him to begin with? I don't believe that he won't play.
I highly doubt he will sit out if he gets traded somewhere else. That doesn't seem to be how he operates in terms of his persona and how he is. I'd be and then also, David, if you just sit out, you're going to get paid, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. You got all that money and now you're not going to take it.
Right. Like,
yeah.
No.
Yeah. I think they're not going to trade to Detroit or somewhere that's really bad.
Right.
Brooklyn would be nice.
Yeah. Play with Bridges and
very competitive there. We'll see. I mean, ultimately stars normally get what they want, but not always. Yeah, not always. And I think there are times when the team, like if they had said, we'll sign you a 3-year deal for a little less money so we can move you anywhere, then they need to take care of him. But at the max dollars, they've done their service.
Absolutely.
I think.
Yeah, no, I agree. So
but Jarod, it's a big deal. We got Harden and Lillard out there.
Huge. Look, Harden, for whatever people want to say about him, he had excellent games this past postseason.
He's an all-star.
He had some duds.
Deserved all-star.
But in that series against Boston, he had 3 electric games. So, I mean,
Yeah, it's true. I'm not sure. Did he make the All-Star team this year?
He did not, but he should have.
He was good enough to make it. His numbers are borderline All-NBA this year.
Correct.
Yeah.
He's not Houston Rockets top 1 MVP, top 2.
No.
He's not that guy anymore. But
he probably will never be that.
Right. But he's still very excellent. And so if you're a championship contending team or what have you, he could potentially tip the scales depending on what else you have going on around your organization. So, yeah, these two guys are huge. And then that, I think, will open up where some of the free agents end up going. And there's some good players still on the board, David. I mean, Christian Wood, he's got his issues, but 2-3 seasons ago, this guy was in the 95th percentile in EPM. I mean, right? So, like, he has talent, clearly. There's Hamidou Diallo is there, who's already a very good defender for a young player. Ayo Dosunmu, who we'll talk about in a minute, from Chicago, is a restricted free agent. There are guys who are still out there who, if they move somewhere else, maybe they could, help a team out.
Well, and trade pieces.
Yeah, correct.
There's a third name that we're hearing a lot now about in Toronto.
Yes. Yeah.
You've got Dame, you've got Harden, and Michael Grange wrote an article yesterday about Siakam. I'm hearing that Toronto is very open to trading him. People have reported as such. I have no idea what will happen, but literally no idea. But let's say that it was true and that Masai has decided it would not be a full rebuild if he keeps OG and Pirtle.
Right.
I have no idea if he's keeping those guys, but he just signed Pirtle.
So he can't move them anyway right now.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know if he's signed. They have a commitment.
Oh, yeah, correct. You're right.
Like
you're right.
it's conceivable to argue that Pirtle's people said, and they probably did this last year when they traded for him.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do 4 year, $80 million, whatever the number was, as long as you think you're gonna have Fred and Pascal because we want to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Masai said, "Okay, sounds great." Well, Fred's gone.
Correct.
But if Pascal is gone too, what's to stop Jakob Pirtle from saying, "Guys, I'm not signing with you.
Yeah.
I'll do a sign and trade somewhere else."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. What's to stop that? I don't know. It's
You're
interesting. Right. But if indeed there's going to have some kind of movement, so someone could get both Dame and Pascal or Harden and Pascal, I'm just saying, it's interesting.
So if you're Toronto, see, to me, Pascal and Scotty's timeline don't mesh. Like that's the problem. And if Scotty's the future that they think he is, well, then you got to move Pascal, right, and get a bunch of young talent back and picks and whatever, so you can get stuff around Scotty as your guy. OG's a little closer, I guess, to Scotty's timeline, but he wants that more responsibility, more role in the offense. I guess if you move Pascal, he would have more of a role in the offense.
Well, there's another argument. But first of all, I think they're trading him, and I've said this for a week now to friends of mine, because they haven't extended him. He can get a max extension. He was all NBA a season ago. Mm-hmm. He was by far your best player again this year. Mm-hmm. He managed to have the same season 2 years in a row, despite how bad the team was this year. And you fired your coach. They're not going to keep him. They would have extended him. I always quote in the Zuckerberg movie, Social
Network.
Yeah, what's his name? The writer, the brilliant writer. From West Wing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Sorkin wrote. If Zuckerberg says to the Winklevites, basically, if you were the inventors of Facebook, then you'd be the inventors of Facebook. If you invented Facebook, you'd be the inventors of Facebook, is what he said.
Right.
Well, if you wanted to extend Pascal Siakam, you would extend Pascal Siakam. You're just waiting around. No one else is waiting around like this. It makes no sense for a guy that's done what he's done, who wants to stay. Mm-hmm. Like there's Toronto articles upset that Pascal admitted he wants to stay, and therefore trade partners are worried because he won't necessarily resign there. Like, when does Toronto get off not being excited about someone who wants to stay?
Yeah.
Kawhi left after winning a championship.
It's true.
DeRozan, I believe, was told they're going to extend him.
Yeah, and they didn't.
And they didn't, and they traded him, obviously. So,
Pascal,
I think,
Pascal's on expiring. This is his last year at $30 million.
Yeah.
So
they're going to trade him. I think they can trade him now or trade him later, but with Michael's article coming out, which I think is planted probably by the team, it just seemed to me it was a team-oriented article, nothing against the writer.
Right.
Basically they were claiming Fred and Pascal were upset at how the young guys acted. That is not something that those players would ever say publicly.
Right.
And their agents would never say publicly. A team who wants them out would say it. Mm-hmm. So someone in the executive staff, that's just how this world works. So that was weird to me. But it's an opportunity for somebody to get a hell of a player in his prime right now. And I don't know if you put those two guys together, but with those three guys, all three can make huge changes. The last time Pascal was the second best player on his team, they won the championship. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting to see now what happens to some of these bigger teams.
No, it's amazing. So Pascal says, all right, but I'm not going to re-sign, but it depends, right? So then in next summer, he's one of the best free agents on the market, like at 30 years old, right? An all NBA caliber player. I mean, that's huge. I mean, that could tilt the balance. But again, given the new CBA and where everything is, who's going to have the cap space then, right? Like it's all, the way this stuff plays out in the imaginations are all very interesting. I'm very curious to see what happens. I thought Masai was going to move them during the trade deadline when we were hearing all the scuttlebutt about how much they were getting back, and he didn't. I was like, so you're going to get more back or less this summer? I don't know.
We'll find out. I have a feeling there's going to be a bidding war in Siakam's case, and we'll see about Harden and Lillard. That's all three probably go to very good. All three go to good teams who want to compete for Final Four in their league, in their conference, or better. Yeah. Or teams already knowing they'll be top four, they can win the whole thing with them. Yeah. All three of those guys will be in that situation, I think.
No, you're right. Oh man, that's interesting. And there's some teams I'm thinking of like, ooh, how could they get this person? They have to give up a young guy maybe. Or...
I'm sure. Yeah. I would think if Masai's going to do a partial rebuild, he wants draft picks. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I did. If you're not doing a partial rebuild, then you're doing a full rebuild. So you're trading Scotty? No.
Mm-hmm.
What about OG? Yes.
Right.
What about Gary Trent Jr.? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You just signed Porto. You're going to trade him come February?
Right.
He doesn't match up with Scotty and the other guys.
Right.
So it's a big mystery, but they have some good players.
OKC and New Orleans and Utah have a ton of draft picks between the three of them. So if you get Shea and you partner Shea with Pascal, oh boy, now we're cooking with gas. Like, okay, we could do some things.
Yeah. But then the question is OKC feel confident Pascal would resign? Would do an extension. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
what he's going to want.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Which understandably so.
Yeah.
All right, David. California Summer League has been going on. And you've watched some games and you've watched players. And, one of the things that you say a lot of bright things about basketball. But it's like, you're like, who cares if second, third year guys are going to summer? I don't care who's going. What I care is, do they have a plan when they're going to summer league? Does the team and the player and whoever is in charge of his development have a plan? If not, well, then we're wasting our time because the basketball is so bad. But if they have a plan, great. Because now we know we have something we're grading against, some kind of metric to know, have we made any improvements? I mentioned how Desmond Bane improved going to summer league, right? In his second and third years, ball handling and all that. And I asked that because Keegan Murray played a game or two of summer league. And I know
2. He played last night too.
Okay, and I know he scored 40-something points, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Keegan Murray's too good for summer league."
Last night he scored,
or the first game. Either the first game or last night he scored over 40 points. And I said, "Well, it doesn't matter if he's quote unquote too good for summer league. The question is there a plan the Kings have for him that there are things he needs to work on, which is why he is there? That's all that matters. Who cares that he went to the playoffs and shot great? None of that's relevant. It's if you're going to make that next jump we want, here are the things that we need you to do as this player." And I know you're a fan of Murray. For you, what are things that you'd like to see him improve as the Kings hope to be now perennial playoff contenders?
I mean, my guess is they want him to be more assertive as a scorer and not just a spot up guy for down the road as much as anything. I mean, Fox and Sabonis can have the ball in their hands a ton. And so he might still be a shooter this year, but these are good reps for when one of our big two is out, and now we can look to you to be more assertive and expect more production and efficiency. And then B, down the road, as guys age, we may rely on you more and more to be a scorer, and this is good practice for that. So I don't know that we'll see him in Vegas more than a game because I think he's already played 2 games, and I didn't even watch him. I didn't even watch him play because I already know how good he is. Yeah, I saw him against real basketball.
Right.
I saw him against mostly NBA players. Right. His summer league.
We saw him in the Warriors in the playoff series.
Right, 20%, 25% NBA players in the NBA in the summer league. So yeah, I'm not even clued on him.
Yeah. But yeah, so that is David's point. So whenever David's giving us insight into players, there are things he's looking at for players to improve. Rookies, of course, they got to get chops because these dudes, they just play college ball. They have no idea what real NBA basketball is like. And this ain't even it. When they get to
this is not real basketball.
The regular season, then they'll be like, oh, this is a whole different level of basketball. But there are certain things we're looking for. Okay. So the Grizzlies played the Thunder, 2 teams that we both agree have very exciting futures in terms of their young cores, right? Now, you know about the Grizzlies and their John Morant situation and all that. But still, all things being told, they have exceptional NBA young talent right now. The Oklahoma City Thunder also have exceptional young NBA talent right now. They played a game last night. Jake LaRavia is someone who the Grizzlies drafted, not this past season, last draft. He spent most of last year with the Memphis Hustle in the G League. Shooter, I believe, is like his reputation coming out. He didn't shoot the ball great last year. What did you see from Jake LaRavia in this summer league game?
Shooter and scorer at all 3 levels.
Nice.
I really liked what I saw. Coming off screens, offensive rebounds, hustling for loose balls around the rim, bullying guys, Euro step, crafty moves off the dribble. Yeah, he was terrific. Yeah, he looked like he's way above the summer league level.
So they have on the adult team, I call it, right? Not the G League.
I call it the varsity.
The varsity is Luke Kennard. Now, is LaRavia, should he be watching what they do with Luke, or does he have more bounce to his game and he can maybe do a little bit more than Luke can?
He's probably got more. Good. He's got more natural talent. He's not the shooter Luke is. It may never be, but could be better defensively. He's got some moxie to him. I liked him at Wake Forest. They like those guys, David Roddy. They like those guys that are tough, figure stuff out. Don't just rely on athleticism. They got Ja for that as much as anything. Baines a shooter
for sure,
but a good basketball player. Yeah, there's something going on with what they do. Yeah, I like what they're doing.
Another player they drafted last year was playing a second summer league. He made G League, NBA G League first team, and I believe he was G League Rookie of the Year, if I'm not mistaken. Kenneth Lofton Jr. I love this dude because he's a little pudgy, right? But man,
no, he's not.
Not anymore.
No. You're being too kind.
Oh, I'm you.
Okay. He's way too heavy.
Okay, he's
30, 40, 50 pounds too heavy.
He needs
30,
to lose
40
some
probably.
Weight. But
he needs a lot of weight.
A lot of weight.
Yeah, let's just be very clear.
No, you're right.
He's fucking fantastic.
David, he has this knack for I'm just how
baller.
Yeah.
Hooper. Amazing feel for the game. Amazing hands. Amazing length. Great body strength. Great body control. He's the closest thing to Barkley we've ever seen as a talent coming out. I think I'm a year younger than Charles Barkley. I want to say he was a sophomore my freshman year at Florida, 1984. That was spring of 84.
You saw Auburn come to Florida and kick your team's ass. And Barkley
with Chris Morris and Chuck Person. Yeah, all three. Yeah. I've told the story about Barkley winking at the hottest girl we had on campus. Coolest thing ever. If I ever saw Charles Barkley, I doubt he'd remember her, but it was a hell of a story. I was right there when it happened. Kenneth Lofton's fucking unreal. He's not exactly like Barkley. He doesn't play as explosive as Barkley does. But he's a good 40 pounds too heavy.
Okay.
And I'm very disappointed because he was this way last year. I don't know what he's doing. That doesn't mean he's not trying. I have no idea. It's not working. He's not going to make it. So Jokic is 7 feet tall and could be all NBA, 40 pounds too heavy.
Right.
Now look at him.
Best
player in the world. And there's time to go still. Like he's been best player over 3 years in a row. And there's no reason to think it won't happen. Have you seen the picture of him on vacation?
Oh, he's having a good time.
And he fucking looks amazing. He's this thin, lean. So Kenneth Lofton, lean? Oh, he's an all-star. I'm a huge fan of him. Huge fan of his talent.
Who do we have to call down in Memphis to get him on some food program? Something's going on down there.
I'm sure they're trying. He is a wonderfully gifted player, both naturally and I'm sure he's worked hard.
Yeah.
If he just can control this one thing, but he's not the only. You remember? You won't remember this, but maybe you will. Do you remember a guy, John Williams?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know where he played? Because there'd be a few John Williams.
Cleveland.
Where'd he go to college?
Oh, no, I don't know.
He went to LSU.
Okay.
So do you know what our nickname for him was when he came to town?
What?
God. I'm not even kidding. I was there on campus 4 years. Only one player ever came to campus and everyone referred to him as God. Fuck, that's how good John Williams was.
Very good player.
He did not last very long. Yeah. He was 300 pounds, easy, ate himself out of the league super fast.
Yeah.
I think other people called him Hot Plate. I like our nickname better. It was more appropriate and more inspiring. But he couldn't overcome the hot plates.
Well, listen, Barkley's a good example, right? Because he tells the story all the time. I got in the league and Moses Malone said, son, the reason why you're not good in this league is because you're too fat.
There you go.
You got to lose weight. If you're not going to make it. You are too fat. And so, hey, maybe Ken Lofton. David said you were Charles Barkley.
All-star.
Thing, right?
All-star, for sure.
Lose some weight, my guy. Get on it. Be serious about that.
He's so gifted.
The
guy that I most think of, you're going to laugh when I tell you this. The guy that I most think of when I see him play, I'll give you one guess. It isn't Barkley. But of a similar era. Let's just say similar era.
A fat kid?
Nope.
Oh.
Just super. It's like, I don't believe in God, but if I did, it's like you're being touched by God with that talent. Who's someone like that?
Wow, of that era?
Like below you, inarguably talented, this person, and was a Hall of Famer, one of the best ever.
But not the greatest. But not the greatest of all time. Because I'm like,
he's not Michael Jordan.
Oh,
no. No, because a big part of Jordan's talent was in his athleticism.
Correct.
And Kenneth Lofton right now, his agility's good.
Right, but
that's not where he's so gifted.
He ain't no super athlete.
No, it's Larry Bird.
Oh.
For me, not that he plays like Larry Bird. He's gifted like that. He's just stupid talented.
He is.
And, there's some guys, Clyde Drexler, there's many, who are so gifted athletically and with a good motor. You can't help but be successful in this sport.
Mm-hmm.
The guys that just get it, the game's like in slow motion to them, and they've got the great hands, which is really helpful. Mm-hmm. He's long. I don't know what his wingspan is, but it's long. He moves, he glides. For a guy 40 pounds too heavy, I mean, I just can't say it enough. He's a definite all-star if he would lean down significantly.
Kenneth Lofton Jr., I know Memphis people listen to this podcast. You know what you got to do. Get on that, my guy. You could be up on the varsity team with those guys.
On the varsity, they'd win the championship if he hit his potential with Triple J and with Ja and all those shooters.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Hey, listen.
You'd have to break the team up because it would cost too much, but
it'd be too expensive.
He's a max talent for sure.
Oh,
he just isn't a max player because of his body.
Listen, I can't give any bigger endorsement for a player than that. Listen, that's David Thorpe speaking to you, buddy. G.G. Jackson, another young player on the Grizzlies. What have you seen from him?
So he's no Kenneth Lofton Jr. He's the guy that everyone knew was just way out of shape in workouts, but there was real speculation as to a fitness issue relating to health. And so I don't know. I see the talent when I saw him play. I saw the talent. He's nowhere ready to be, we can say he's going to make it. He's got to get healthy. He's got to get himself in great shape, just like Kenneth Lofton Jr. He's not as heavy, but you can't do anything in this league without being in great shape. That's step one.
That's the number one thing. Because
step one.
Look, Kenneth Lofton came out to the varsity a couple of times last year, and he has to get blows every few minutes. Because I'm like, dude, you're too heavy, right? Like and I figured this summer, all right, he'd come in, he'd do a little. Nah. I
talked to a rookie last night, very talented first-round pick. And this is 10 o'clock my time. He was not on the East Coast. So let's just say it was 9 or before. I asked what he was doing at night. He said, I'm going back to the gym, coach. I'm getting on the VersaClimber. There you go.
There it is.
I've been telling him, there's nothing beats cardio. Doesn't matter what you can do if you're not in shape. It just doesn't matter. Yeah. And you're probably not going to play a lot of minutes in summer league, but what you don't want to do is get a chance to play a lot and not be able to because you're too tired, so you suck. They won't remember what you were doing well when you were feeling good. They're going to remember you sucking.
No doubt.
So get in shape.
The Grizzlies played the Thunder, and we love the Thunder's young talent. Both Jalen Williams, the all-rookie, and Jalen Williams.
Well, let's call him post player Jalen and wing Jalen.
Okay, post player.
Yeah.
And wing
post player is the second-round pick from Arkansas.
Yes, correct. And
who led the league in charges taken.
Wing player is second rookie of the year and made first team all-rookie in the end.
He got my rookie of the year vote.
He was excellent. He
really got my rookie of the year vote, yeah.
Of course, they have Chet. And they have Trey Mann, who David's been a big fan of. I remember since draft day, like, oh, this kid's gonna be good. What have you seen from the young Thunder?
All right, so wing Jalen Williams should not be in summer league.
Too good.
He already is done.
Well, but does he have stuff he needs to improve on though?
Yeah, but you're not going to get better in summer league. It's because it's not basketball. If you wanted to get better at cooking, what's your favorite dish to cook?
Any kind of pasta, really.
Would you take tennis lessons for it?
Definitely not.
That's pretty much what NBA Summer League is. It's called NBA Summer League. They use a basketball. There's very little else in common with the real game. I'm sorry to tell you. It's just too bad. So, first of all, wing Jalen Williams looks like defensive end for the New York Giants. Jalen Williams, big and strong. I was super impressed with him.
We like that.
So they were too. They shut him down after one game. Maybe he'll play in Vegas for a game or two. I don't really see the read for, especially if they're trying to make the playoffs this year.
Which they should be.
Which they should be, but they almost did last year. They need him to be able to play a full season. And so my guess is he won't more than a game. Big Jalen Williams from Arkansas. Loved him. Nice little corner three action. Takes charges. Led the league in charges last year.
That's a big
took charges in this. There was a play in the first game where a young guy's driving. I could see Jalen coming over, and I just thought to myself, like, bro, stop. But he didn't. And, of course, he charged Jalen Williams. Looked surprised. Hey, I charged? Yeah, it's Jalen Williams. They're calling it.
It's amazing how players, like, it's happened 4 times in a row. Why are you doing it again? Like, just stop. Do something else.
So I'm a fan. I think he's good. If he's 6'10", I did not think he was that tall. But I remember looking at him
in the summer. He could have grown.
Yeah, no. Last year I saw it listed at 6'10". I'm like, is he that big? I really like him. He reminds me of. He's a different version of Kevon Looney, but he's going to be a really good glue guy.
You love Kevon Looney.
Yeah, he doesn't defend the perimeter. I don't think like Kevon. Maybe I'm wrong. He's young too. That's why I like Kevon so much. Knows how to play and can guard a lot of positions. This guy's got a chance to be able to guard lots of positions. He doesn't fuck the offense up. He doesn't take bad shots.
It's important.
He rebounds. I'm a fan of his. Yeah, I like him a lot.
I love that. Trey Mann. I know you love Trey Mann.
Mm.
Ooh, not so much.
No. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I didn't know. He went to Florida where I went to school, a billion years ago. I didn't know.
Wait, you're so funny about that because you don't like most people who go to schools like that or any kind of school with a big time reputation athletically, they wear their stuff proudly still, like on weekends and whatever. You're like, you literally sent your son to the enemy school and wear Florida State colors. It's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, my son chose the school he wanted to go to. I didn't send him anywhere.
Well, yes.
I understand your point. Yeah, I do pay his bills. But who am I to send it? The only school I didn't take him official visit to was Florida. He gets to live his own life. Same as my daughter. They live their own life. When my daughter said, Dad, I might transfer after the COVID year, I'm like, all right, you want to go to Florida? You can. I don't care. I never put a Gator thing on them in their life. It's their life. I was raised differently. And so it was the best school to stay when I was young. Florida State's closing the gap, although Florida's still a great school. I have nothing negative to say. Trey Mann is from the Villages. That's even more surprising. Mostly old people, right? They must have a high school there. He went there. He's good. Now he's really good. I did not know for sure he's an NBA player, to be honest. He's way too good for summer league. He's just doing whatever he wants under control and has the dunk of the summer so far. Really impressive dunk in game one, where he took the elevator right up and up and up. That was impressive, but super smooth, skilled. He's going to give Lou Dort a run. Lou Dort's there for defense, I know, but I think Trey Mann looks terrific.
Gonna give Lou Dort a run, and we like Dort. Wow, listen, future's bright. Okay, Chet, that's the one because all the fans, it's the anchor effect, right? That's the big name. That's the one they drafted early. So that's the one everybody has high hopes for. You're going to be all NBA, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah.
Not this year.
But you see the talent's there. You see it.
Did you see the games at all?
I saw this first game where he looked a little rough in that first quarter. Understandable.
A little?
Very rough. I know. I'm too kind to these guys. Right. He looked terrible in the first quarter.
Well, he airballed a layup.
Correct.
A finger roll, a 3-foot finger roll went 2 feet.
Yes.
He missed the dunk.
Yes.
Who cares?
Right. You haven't played basketball in 13 months or whatever, however long it's been.
Exactly. I have no negative feelings on that. I thought he was competitive. I thought he got better as the game went on. He because he's Chet Holmgren, I thought he had a couple of fouls on blocks they didn't call because he just knocked guys over their body, but he blocked it clean with his hands. Whatever. He's a talented player, I think. I have one major worry for him, and I'm writing about these guys right now.
Body?
Travis is educating it. No. He thinks he's KD.
I know. Yeah.
And so
that was last year. I remember.
So here's my thing. And this is going to sound a little more three-dimensional chess, but just hear me out. If Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault, the coach, have said publicly or privately, meaning publicly with him, privately to each other, let him do whatever he wants to do now. Let's not say one word, but all those extra dribbles he's taken, all those turnaround 18-foot jumpers he's taken, until after it's over. And then we're going to sit down with him and Shea and have Shea tell him, bro, every time you're doing this, I don't have the ball in my hands. That's not good for the Thunder.
Correct.
So either you're going to do what's best for Chet, which means maybe long-term, learning how to do this, so fail now, succeed later, or you're going to do what's best for us. But those are not, that Venn diagram, they're not connected.
Correct.
Because what's best for you now is to rebound, race the court, finish in the rim, be a passer. You can start the break. Absolutely. He's good at that, like Jokic. In fact, I'd play him like Jokic. But every time you try to prove you can handle the ball, you're successful 2 times in 5. The other 3 times are disasters, potentially. And it just kills us. So stop.
Yeah.
But stop after the summer league's over. That's one way to play it. Learn from now. Realize you can't do it now. Practice all off season, all in season, but don't bring it into games.
Correct.
And then we'll try next year. That's one option. The other thing could be he don't care what they say. And I'm KD and I'm going to prove it. And maybe he'll be right. I just don't think so.
Highly unlikely.
I don't think he's got that quickness. Right. I don't think he's got that quickness.
Highly unlikely.
I think he'd be an all-star playing like Walker Kessler with a 3-point shot.
We do. Look, it's a lazy thing because it's just easy, right? Human beings like comparison, like things in categories. Guys, every tall, lanky person is not Kevin Durant.
But he thinks he is, and that's the problem.
Yes, correct.
I know this from talking to his friends, and I think he's even said it. He thinks he's KD.
You ain't, my guy.
I don't think he ever will be. But I don't care. He could be so much. Yeah, I'm a believer in his talent. I think he can be the anchor of an amazing team there. His shot looks terrible now. It's flat and short, but I think he's going to be a good shooter. I've seen him shoot well in last summer. His form looked good. I've seen him plenty of shots on video. It just is really flat now and short.
I mean, guys, Kevin Durant was a 20-plus point per game scorer day one in the NBA. Like, that's,
But also remember, his team sucked.
Correct. So I was going to go there.
He didn't have Shea Gilgeous on his team.
Right. So he could afford to learn all the things and whatever. The problem with Chet is this team and you, while young, are not at the same level, right? Because Shea here, you guys can actually be legit if you play your role that you can play. We can be a top 6 playoff team, which is very different than the 19-win Sonics or whatever they were.
I think so.
When Durant was here, right?
Yeah.
So you got to, but again, to your point, you can be that later, just not now. So we'll see if he.
Do you know in Summer League if they're playing the Spurs?
I believe they are.
The Spurs, the NBA made a huge mistake. Like, who cares about Victor versus Brandon Miller?
But they got to do this thing.
But put him against Chet.
I think you will play Chet. I think that's
Well, not only if it's game 1 or 2.
Well, you're
right. Because then Victor ain't gonna play anymore. Yeah, right. He's got the World Championships coming.
But he's not playing World Championships.
Oh, that's right. He's not. He's not. But he's only playing 2.
He's not going to play long summer league.
He just got done playing up like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he played a full professional season. Like, he's not,
Right.
Oh, speaking of Victor, I know you didn't see this, but so he's in Vegas right now, obviously. It was the head of the Spurs security was with him. He was in the Aria Hotel, and he went to catch, which is,
Been there many times.
Britney Spears was behind him and wanted an autograph. So she went up to tap him on the shoulder.
No way. Couldn't reach it?
Forget that. Whoever the head of security was smacked her hand away, and she got hit in the face, and now it's a whole thing. And,
really?
Oh, yeah.
How did you know that I didn't know about this? Because you're right. I didn't.
Well, listen, I know my guy Thorpe, but I know what sites you're traveling in and what sites you're not.
I've been reading a lot of essays about Supreme Court justices.
Right, you see?
Politics, whatever. Right. I had no idea about this.
Yes, I knew you wouldn't have seen this.
Really no idea.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. And I want to be clear. This has nothing to do with Victor. I'm not saying this reflects
or Brittany.
Or Brittany, right? Whatever. It's just the problem is where we are now in society with celebrity and.
Did he not know it was Britney Spears?
Well, I'm sure the guy didn't. First of all, Victor probably didn't even feel her because
I meant the bodyguard.
He probably didn't even know who she was. He saw blonde hair and whatever and thought, oh, some IG model or whatever is trying to get over here. And he's like, no, I don't have time for this. Like, as opposed to stopping and waiting. But it's, look, shit moves fast. You don't know who's who. Like, I get it.
Did you ever watch Entourage?
Of course.
Do you remember when their buddy came out, Dom?
Yeah.
Came out to LA and started smacking the cameras down when they're like, movie stars like cameras, Dom. Yeah. Come on, bro. It's a celebrity.
It's a celebrity. The security person didn't know it, so the law enforcement's talking to Brittany this morning, right? Because it is morning in Vegas. They're gonna figure out
Victor can afford a bodyguard. He'll be able to afford more later.
I'm sure.
Brittany has an army.
No doubt.
If she wanted one.
No doubt. And I just think that, she was like, oh my God, she probably saw and that's that tall young kid. I want to get a picture with him. Like, and
yeah, maybe to give her a kid or whatever.
Right. Just, and it became a thing when it didn't have to be because instead of first pausing, it was react first,
I know how to solve this problem.
How do you solve the problem?
You have Vegas and it's the mountains of Georgia. Actually, yeah, Georgia voted the right way. Yeah, let's not pick the wrong state.
That way there's none of this nonsense going on.
No, let's just go somewhere where it's just basketball.
It's just basketball.
Summer League's a nightmare that way. It just is.
It is.
Yeah, I love it, but it's a nightmare.
It is. Yeah.
Because the fans are just so many, and it's business. It's a business for us, and it's for fans. It's like I've been to Vegas and run into family of mine, nephews and nieces and cousins who are just there to watch the games. They want to go to Vegas and gamble, but also go watch the NBA because they love the NBA. But it's business for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure at some point Victor will connect with her and take a picture and do all the things, and it'll be all good. But I know I saw that. I was like, oh, I bet David doesn't know this.
All right. No clue.
The Hornets and Warriors played. Okay. Let's talk about Brandon Miller and get that out of the way first because he was the number 2 pick. He's fouling a lot, David. He's fouling a ton.
So my understanding is he's been really sick for a while. That they lost a lot of weight. I'm really high on him.
Yeah.
He had 7 assists maybe last night.
Mm-hmm.
Moved the ball beautifully. That is something you almost never hear for summer league.
Certainly not never hear.
Number 2 pick. Guards don't do it.
Well, yeah, for sure.
He showed patience. Here's the thing. He was SEC Player of the Year. He can really shoot. That hasn't shown up yet. Who cares? He knows how to play. He was the best player on the best team in the country for the year, and showed up hugely until late in the season. But he was sick then too. That he's been battling some health issues. I don't know what it is. He looked fine to me. Did not play well,
right?
But I saw plenty to think he's going to make it and be a high level player. Chris Middleton to Jason Tatum kind of upside.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, depending on how well he handles the ball. But he's in a terrible franchise. Yeah. You can buy a really nice mattress, but if you put it into a cheap ass hotel, it's a really nice mattress and a cheap ass hotel. And you'd rather not stay there. And that's exactly what we're looking with that franchise right now. Maybe things will change.
They're a disaster. And I heard a story, and I can't say it all because I'm not sure if it's all true, but the way in which Jordan had to sell his majority stake ownership in the team, people looked that up and looked at the person who ended up buying it from him. People are saying that it's tied to the fact that, Jordan, as like a low-level billionaire, right? Only net worth like a shade over 1, close to 2, was trying to hang with legit 10s, 20, 30 billionaire. And like people, if the difference between 30 billion and 1 billion net worth, like it's just like Chris Rock has a joke, was when Oprah first became billionaire. And he said, if Bill Gates had Oprah's money, he'd kill himself. Right. And like that is the level difference, right? Like, yes, Oprah is richer than anyone for sure, by far. But compared to Bill Gates, nah. Like, it's just
that's a really different. Funny line. I'm gonna think about that for a while.
It's just different. And so if you think you're gonna be rolling with these dudes who got real billions, you might find yourself in some trouble. Again, just do some research.
What was his problem? You don't want to talk about it?
I don't want to talk about it. Just look it up. I think, listen, we know that Michael's a gambling situation.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah. So,
these dudes, that little toy boat you played in the bathtub with as a kid, that's their yacht.
Exactly.
That's their yacht.
Exactly. Yeah. It's, this is different. This is high stakes, my friends. High stakes. You want to talk about James Bouknight? He got into some trouble last year off the floor. He had some maturity issues. What have you seen from him in summer league? Okay, no, nothing.
Nothing good.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing good with him or Kai Jones, who's super talented, super athletic, has some highlight plays, but no meat and potatoes guy.
Right. Selfish guards, right? Not really.
Yeah, Kai Jones is a lost big guy athlete. Bouknight looked lost totally. But I will tell you this. I had a player tell me the other day, he's in summer league. He knows what he's doing. He's a good player. And he said, their summer league coach sucks. I said, what do you mean? He's like, you can tell he's never coached a game before in his life.
Oh, my God.
And he said, and the worst thing is we've got 2 assistant coaches who know what they're doing. And they're trying to help him. And they're taking over too much. And it's a shit show. This is what a guy told me in practice. It had only been 2 or 3 practices in, but he was really down. He's like, it's going to be a mess.
Guys,
he has no why he's playing because he's an NBA player already and has a long contract out of him, but he's young. And so he's doing it for the sake of the team, but he says it's going to be miserable.
Guys,
so who knows what's going on in Charlotte?
This is to defend an NBA those guys. Team David is talking about. A fucking NBA franchise. And you have someone who's never coached before coaching your draft picks and young guys who need TLC, spirit, development.
They need to organize. He said the practices were disorganized. There was no flow. He plays for a good head coach, so he knows what it feels like. He played for a good coach in college, and a good coach in high school, really good, all of it. And now nothing, and it's just obvious. So to defend all those Charlotte players, I have no idea what's going on in Charlotte. I don't know the coach at all.
You don't know if they're good or not because you can't evaluate them.
Right, it could be a mess. Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ, guys! I'm telling you, the importance of a quality franchise with stable ownership, with people who give a shit and know what they're doing and give a shit on top of that, and who want to see people succeed. You think it's commonplace? No, rarity in this league. David, I want to talk about a player that you know very well, I'm going to guess you text him all the time, but he scored some points, and I think he did it pretty efficiently. Don Barlow, did he get a text from you? Like, good job, my guy. Efficient scoring.
I have a lot of guys playing, so I know who you're going to talk about. So the Spurs in general look sharp. Julian Champagny, sharpshooter, sniper. Hollinger made a joke on Twitter about how Victor's got to learn his Champagny's team now, whatever is Champagny.
I'm like, is it champagne?
Yeah. I thought he was good. Barlow was in the first game. He had 24 points, 11 rebounds on 10 of 13 shooting.
Yeah.
3 block shots, 3 steals. Last night, he barely touched the ball because their guards are just so selfish, in my opinion. Young, talented guys, though. And I think maybe he had 8 rebounds, I don't remember, and 3 blocks and 6 assists for a 20-year-old. Here's the thing. He's 6 months younger than Brandon Miller.
Whoa.
He's 6 months younger than Brandon Miller.
I love that.
Yeah, and as a restricted free agent because teams, since he didn't get drafted, teams are like, oh, I guess he's not good enough to draft him. They're idiotic to me. He's going to help a team within a year at 20 years of age. He just turned 20 in May. And locked up Max Christie, who we'll talk about. I looked really good. Not when he went up against Barlow. He couldn't do anything against one-on-one in the perimeter.
Yeah,
he's really good.
I like it. Well, because I know your thing is for your guys. Like, okay, can you score 30? Can you do it efficiently? Right?
Yeah. Well, when you're a big guy in summer league, you should be focused on the other things because catching the ball is a gift you don't expect. The guards don't pass it too often. If you're lucky, you play with a really good passer, but it's very rare. Most of those guys want to score.
So Dom's a 4.
He starts as the 5 for them,
but he can guard out to the.
He guarded guards.
Yeah.
Played 5-4 on offense.
So.
Yeah. He looked great. The team should be thrilled with him.
So him and Victor would be nice. That's a nice little.
Yeah, but they've got Keldon Johnson.
Yes, that's right.
They've got Doug McDermott. I mean, they've got some other players.
They got guys.
I don't think they have a roster spot for Dom. I think it will go somewhere else. They're crazy in my opinion. And Victor probably noticing, hey man, that guy, he's nice.
And Dom's young, right? 20, 19?
No, he's younger than Brandon Miller. He's 20. He just turned 20 in May. Yeah, he'd be one of the youngest. If he was in this draft, he'd be top 10. He's better than Jarris Walker.
I mean,
he's better than Taylor Hendricks.
Why not keep a spot for him? Because he was undrafted.
Because they have no spot. They have to cut some guys.
But he's gonna be at a lower salary slot anyway. So
I think it's crazy, but we'll see what happens. Champagny does have a deal, so he'll be there. Okay. Malachi Branham scored a lot yesterday. Did not like the way he played. Okay. Very selfish, I thought. Blake Wesley was a little better, but mostly also a selfish 20-year-old scorers. They don't know yet how to play. Put good guards next to those guys in San Antonio. They've got a big kid, too, from Alabama that went to the draft and shouldn't have, but did. He's got some talent. The Spurs, like you say, they have a chance to cook with some gas in a little bit. Yeah, Victor's haven't even played yet, so give them some time. And they've got Devin Vassell, who's 22.
Yes.
I really like what they've got going on.
They're all lining up well. No, I like what they have going on in San Antonio. And we'll get to see Victor this week,
Friday.
Okay, Lakers. Max Christie,
Colin Tim.
Yeah, listen, I liked him last year. He got a little bit of run last year.
I liked him too. He can score and shoot. Yeah, he's young. I think he was 19 during the season last year.
He looked it too.
Yeah, he did. He's got a chance. Yeah, Lakers got a couple guys there. Castleton's a 2. John Castleton, a 2-way player from my alma mater as well with Trey. He transferred there, I think, from Michigan. After 2 years. He would have been the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, but he got hurt. He was leading the league in block shots. He's got some Zubac to his game. Maybe a better shot blocker. Not probably the interior presence, but not as stiff. Don't know if he can shoot the 3. I don't think he did any last night. That would be really nice for him to be able to shoot it. But he's got a real shot. I'm glad the Lakers gave it 2 ways. Got a chance to make it.
I like it. 76ers played the Jazz. 2 guys that were interesting there. Keontae George on Utah and Traquavion Smith of the 76ers.
Yeah, I thought George, I liked him. I like Baylor guards. He got heavy his freshman year. I think he got hurt, and then he got heavy. He looks good now. He moves well. He's kind of got an Aaron Gordon. He reminds me of Eric Gordon.
Oh,
like a bowling ball. Just run you over, taller than that, I think.
Fire
Taller,
hydrant.
maybe. Yeah, maybe 6'4" and built like that. Yeah, he's got a chance. Utah's got some young talent going there. They've got a chance. I don't know how much they'll play this year. They have Jordan Clarkson right now. We'll see what they end up doing. But I liked him, and I liked Smith a lot. Last year, it should have been a first-round pick. Of course, he didn't get drafted this year. Of course, Daryl Morey is the one who gets the guy that probably had first-round talent. I think he shot 40% better than 40% from three both years in college as an 18 and 19-year-old on catch and shoot.
I mean,
his numbers were worse because he took bad shots.
Right.
And he took some bad shots these last two games, but not that many. But he threw a lot of great passes. I really was happy with his floor game. He's also electric as an athlete. He had the best block shot probably so far of the event. Blocking Keontae George above the rim on a transition. Incredible play.
Super athletic play.
The Sixers got themselves a steal right there. They stole Maxey in the middle of the first, and they stole it to Travion Smith without even using a draft pick.
Folks, this is why this stuff matters. We talked about Travion Smith. I talked about Don Barlow. Based on how the CBA works, where you get drafted, that determines your salary slots. Okay? So undrafted players who probably should have been drafted, who end up being really good, that's huge for you. Going back to David.
Minimum deals.
Talking about Kenneth Lofton Jr., who was a second round. I mean, this is the thing. It's like, if you can reach your potential, that is, we're crushing bonus wins. Because you're not going to make 4 years at 100 and whatever million. Nope. You were a second draft guy. On that second deal, you will, but not now. That's where you have to find the value. And the good teams know what they're doing. Bad teams, well, you'll miss out, as per usual. That's why you're always bad. It's just the name of the game. All right. We'll be watching Summer League all weekend, and we'll get some more updates from David on players that he likes, even though Summer League is terrible, as he told you. Bad basketball, but
it's bad basketball, but we can still find some shining jewels.
We can find jewels, and we'll find guys. I like what this guy's doing. I like what that. I don't like what, and in many cases, I don't like what that guy's doing. And so we'll find out. All right, guys, enjoy your weekend. Take care.